This stuff looks all Greek to me. You know, mental health plans, medical billing, all that stuff. It's almost a new world, that new language, different language. It's hard to explain, hard to understand. You always feel like maybe I'm getting ripped off. Maybe I'm not getting the benefits I thought I was getting. I wish there was somebody there that we could talk to that would help us out here. Oh, wait, I got somebody. Stay tuned. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Today I have a very special guest. So her name is Jessica Mojica, and she is a certified billing and coding specialist in mental health. And she is with Quiayamo Billing Service Plus. And the reason why I'm doing this, I know that if you watch my videos, I do a lot of weird stuff. I say that my channel is not a niche channel, it's a life channel. And so you'll see me, I'm fishing, I'm hunting, I'm cooking, I'm reviewing products, I'm up on a pallet being lifted up by a tractor, cutting tree limbs. I'm doing stupid stuff all the time. I also have a business degree, and one of the things I do care about is when a small business can have a big impact in your life, whether you are the professional that owns the small business or whether or not you're maybe the end user, that you're the client. And so when I find a small business that they're doing a really good job, that they got something special about them that I think my viewers need to hear, I invite them to come on. And Jessica was one of those interesting small businesses. I was like, I think my viewers need to hear her. I think they need to hear her story. And we've been talking off camera, and she has an amazing story. Her business model is a little bit different. Her ideas are a little bit different. And if you're a mental health therapist, you know anybody that's into the mental health business, this might be a godsend for them. So if you know anybody in your family, you know any friends, take her information down and talk to them about it, because there could be some things, share this video with them, because I think that when you listen to Jessica speak, you're going to see what I've seen in her, that there's something special here, and that there is potential for a lot of people to be helped. So with that, Jessica, I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for coming. And I really would like for you just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your company.
Absolutely. Well, as you mentioned, I am a certified billing and coding specialist. I have been in the healthcare industry for over 18 years. I actually started in pediatrics, and then I went to adult medicine and OBGYN, but I landed in mental health. And that's where I stayed for the last 14 years. Part of why I stayed there, my mom is a LCSWR. I have to mention the R. If she watches this, she will not be happy. And she started her private practice because of the issues that she kind of incurred in corporate America. And if anyone out there knows what I'm talking about, when you work for a large facility, your caseload is inhumane. It's over 100. And so she felt like she really wasn't helping anybody. She was seeing people, but she wasn't helping people. So she decided to step out and start her private practice. When she started that, I took an interest because I saw her struggle. The insurance world is a total foreign language to therapists who have clinical training. And so I went and furthered my education, getting my diploma in medical billing and coding, and furthering that to become a certified billing and coding specialist. So I started as a freelance level in 2016, helping her. And when I saw the need, more of her friends, reaching out to me, I really started to see there was a big need for this. And so I kind of did the freelance all the way through. Even I registered my business in 2022. So really becoming even more serious, really like realizing that the need for this doesn't only exist in my little community, but it exists worldwide. So I started Quiayamo Billing Service Plus, and I appreciate you trying to say the name. I know it doesn't roll off the tongue easily. It's definitely not a common name. You won't find it. I hope you don't find it anywhere else. It's definitely a name that has consisted of family. All the different family members that have gotten me to this point and have supported me and definitely believe in the same mission. So that's just a little bit of how I got started and my little background.
Okay. And so the Quiayamo is actually a mix-up of a few different last names. So that's where you was talking about with the family, that the ones that supported you, you took elements of their last name to make one name for your business, right?
I did. It takes family support, right, to get to a point as a small business owner. You don't do it on your own. And so, yeah, Quiayamo, my mom is the one who initially pushed me into this field with me seeing what she wanted to achieve and really seeing the need for that. Here in the streets of New York, you really see the need for mental health treatments, but not everyone has access to mental health care. And so I wanted to be part of the solution. And so that was my mom, and her last name starts with QUI. And my maiden last name is Ayala. So yes, I'm of Puerto Rican descent. And so that's the AYA. And my husband's last name is Mojica, and that's the MO. So Quiayamo, all different family members that have brought this vision to life.
Right. And that's something I just love is that when it's a family affair that you got family, that your mother's a therapist, you did this start, you had a job before this, and you actually went to try to help your mother, and that this is more than just I just want to go in this profession, make money, or this is more than that for you. This is you're invested in it. You got skin in the game.
I sure
So
enough too.
I like that. So, you know, you'd already hinted at the fact that you're really specializing in mental health, but just so that people can understand a little bit better, what does your ideal client look like? Who are they?
So my ideal clients are mental health practitioners who are going into private practice or already in private practice and want to scale for profitability and grow their practice. And they need a partner, right? You can't be in everywhere. You can't be a part of every meeting and provide clinical care to your client, at least not quality clinical care. So those who need a partner, and we also work with groups. So there are mental health groups that have, between 5 and 10 different therapists underneath one umbrella, and they need to support either medical billing and credentialing services. And that's what makes my business a little different, because we do include credentialing. In my opinion, you can't do billing without credentialing. Like, you need to get on insurance panels and you need to stay there. And insurance companies put a lot of rules around that, a lot of updates that get needed. And half the times my clients are busy giving quality care. They don't have time to pay attention to that email that said, please respond to this within 30 days. But we do. We do that for them.
Okay, great. And I think it's the back end that a lot of professionals just really don't understand that, I have certifications, like you talk about your mother, she has certifications. But when you get into something like insurance or all these ancillary things where, you got to get your money from somebody, and a lot of times insurance is where you get your money. That's a whole different ball game. There's so much that they require, and then on top of that, the states they'll change up stuff all the time, and that's rough. So you being there doing that, I think that's fantastic. Another
Absolutely.
thing, as a small business owner, you kind of think, well, I'm it. I am the star of the show. I am the one that I'm providing all the services. I'm doing all the work.
Okay.
And but I used to advise a lot of small businesses, and a lot of time the ancillary services, support services, things of that nature, they they provide a value to the clients. It's not, I may have clients, that my customers, but I could hire you and you provide a service to them that I wasn't thinking about. There's intrinsic value. And so that's what I'm trying to get at is when
Right.
a professional uses your services, what value do you bring to their patients?
Well, for starters, as you mentioned, or as we mentioned even earlier, clinicians, therapists, nurse practitioners, MDs, they don't go into this field thinking about the business portion of having your own private practice. And that being said, as you mentioned, insurance world has totally different language. So if you're confused, if the therapists are confused about it, their clients are confused about it. A lot of my experience, a lot of clients are not versed in understanding the benefits they have, the coverage that they are allowed to. And so what happens a lot of times, you call the insurance company, you ask them what's covered, they tell you what's covered, and you walk away saying, that's what they said, right? Because you don't know your rights. You don't know the underlining words. You don't know what's in the background, especially for those of us that receive our insurance coverage from our employers. There are added coverages that the insurance company agreed to when they signed on with that company to provide to their employees. And employees are not aware of that. So a lot of times we just incur costs that we didn't need to, that should have been covered. And when you push back and you realize it's against the Department of Labor rules, the insurance company wants to pay for it, So, but I don't even the therapist and their clients don't realize those rules, don't realize those laws. So we here, and I say we, even though it's a small business, I do have two independent contractors who are also certified billing and coding specialists who assist me. And so we keep ourselves updated with all of the newest regulations and changes and compliance so that we can keep our clients and their clients educated and knowledgeable about what their rights are and how to push back so that they don't have to keep coming out their pocket.
And, we had talked a little bit, off camera about it. Uh, there's different elements of law that people don't understand. The common person doesn't understand that you got statutes, but you got the Constitution of the state, and then you got statutes, but even then you got all other types of regulations. From there, you may have administrative code. For me as a mediator, not only do I have the administrative code, but I also have court rules that I have to follow.
Mm.
So, you have all these different elements, and the same is true with the insurance world. And if you're not a professional, you know, these rules change a lot. It's amazing how much they change. And
Very often.
it can almost be every month that there's something changing, right?
Absolutely. It is changing every month, especially in the mental health industry, where a lot of the people that were sitting there in the Senate and state, they're realizing a lot of different things need to be inclusive. Mental health used to be separated, right? It used to be limits. You can only have but so many sessions, but now they're making it more inclusive in the essence of wanting holistic care. So a lot of the rules are being relaxed equal to your preventive care when you just go to the doctor. But a lot of folks don't understand that. A lot of folks don't understand the importance that providers need to just, they didn't tell you the cost right up front, right? You shouldn't be going for care and then getting a big bill later on and be surprised and kind of pushed into needing therapy, right? Because that's a shock. They're supposed to let you know all of that up front, but a lot of people are not focused on that and they're not speaking about this in the news. So they're not aware of all of these new rules and regulations, both at the federal and state level, that are being made constantly on a constant basis. They're always being changed.
And you know, I say you're a small business, but how many states do you actually actively deal with right now? Because I think that's important to note, because we just talked about how crazy it is, how many updates, you know, and this, you know, you're in New York, I'm in Florida, and we got viewers all over the US that would be watching right now. So,
Mhm.
how many states right now are you dealing with personally that you're having to stay on track with?
Right. So right now, of course, New York, we do have providers that are dually licensed. So we New York, Texas, Florida, and New Jersey.
All right. So,
It's a lot.
four
It's a lot to
states.
keep up with.
Right. But you're doing it. And
Yeah, because we believe that it needs to be done.
right.
And we always it's something that I said in the past. It's like we need to shake up the medical billing industry and really bring awareness up front and show the importance of that education, right? Because if you're not in the know, then a lot of businesses wind up closing that way because they just didn't know, and the government doesn't care about that. They don't care
Right.
that you know.
Right. And you know, as we talk about the, you know, the all the differences and the changes and everything, there also seems to be, at least from what I've seen in my involvement in politics, because I've been involved in politics before, I've held elected office. There's also a lot of states that they have similar enough laws that you could, you know, even though you may not cover, maybe it's Michigan, maybe it's something else, that there's a lot of states that they have similar enough laws that, you know, somebody might say, oh, well, she's not covering my state. But how difficult would it be if I was in another state to say, hey, would you be willing to talk to me? Would you be willing to take me on as a client, you know, and do my service? Really, how difficult would it be for you to get them on board and get going with your business?
It wouldn't be difficult. It wouldn't be difficult. As you said, a lot of the laws are very cross state lines and
Mhm.
they're very common. They're only like small little changes. So it would just be a matter of seeing what those small changes are. So it's not a difficult matter. In addition, I do have a big network of other billing companies that we just, we help each other and we refer to each other. So if you wanted somebody who had the same kind of like-minded business and I couldn't take you on, I can definitely point you in the right direction. So you're not trying to search in the whole sea of Google.
And that right there is professionalism. That's what I love. Is a lot of small businesses, they feel like, you know, everybody is competition, but like you're talking about, maybe you couldn't help them out, but you know people and you can help get them to the right person. So you're willing to forego potential profit so that somebody's better served. And that right there, I think that if nothing else, my viewers need to understand that right there is textbook professionalism. And that's the reason why I invited you on the show, is
Thank
that
you.
I love professionalism. So kind of getting on this a little bit, you know, as a small business owner, there's a, I keep talking about the nature of the beast. It's rough. It is so rough. And if you never owned a small business, I tell people that, you know, I work for myself and I've got a jerk for a boss. So, he's the biggest jerk I know.
Oh,
And
no, right? Be a little strict.
you know, you try not to cut corners, but sometimes you're forced to. If it means whether or not you're going to keep the doors open, not, you have to cut corners sometimes, and you don't want to, and you want to be as professional as you can, but it's rough. And so a lot of times we kind of get blinders on people, you know, mental health professionals. I've known a lot of psychologists, therapists, and they'll talk about people have blinders. And even in my own practice, restorative justice, mediation, I deal a lot with blinders. And
Yeah.
small business owners, they deal with blinders as well, that they can't see but only a certain little bit, and they need those blinders taken off. And so a lot of times they get into this negative cycle, negative thought process where they say, oh, I can do this in house and I can save so much money, or, well, I can just send so and so to a class, and, or I can hire my spouse, or I can hire my college age child. And they can kind of work their way
Mhm.
through it and we can make it happen. And, I get the same thing with my mediation practice. They'll get kind of thing called what I call sticker shock. They hear my costs and they freak out. And I explain to them, I'm like, yeah, I'm expensive. I'm good. That's the reason why I cost so much. I'm good. But
Mhm.
at the same time, you look at my costs, it's going to be a tenth of
Mhm.
what you're going to pay if you go to trial.
Right.
And then, you think about it, in 2 weeks, I may have, I'm not promising a case be resolved because I can't make a decision for people. They have to make decision for themselves as a mediator. I
Right.
just facilitate. But in 2 weeks, I could possibly have this case resolved. Whereas it might take 2 years going through court. And then there's all these other costs. You think about the cost of time, cost of money. There's all the lack of productivity. If it's small business, they're having to go through all these different, depositions, and all, they can't be on the business, and they're losing money,
Right.
from other things, trying to recover money from this past thing. So I try to explain all this cost savings. So by using you versus, doing it in house,
Mhm.
what is the potential profit potential for your mental health client?
So, right. So I want to remind everyone that mental health therapists, my clients, are not educated in the insurance world and don't know all the rules or don't know all of the loopholes either. So in-house, a therapist probably be like, I could submit my claims, and I've had this, and I even have some of my clients on my roster who submit their own claims, but the follow-up you don't know. You don't know how to do that. You don't know when the money's supposed to come in. You're not even savvy if you're getting paid the right amount of money, right? So you can lose. I forgot the statistic, but healthcare industry in itself loses over $20 million a year in unclaimed cost that you
Wow.
rightfully had right to. It's just you never knew about that. You never went after it, and because you never focused on it and you didn't pay attention to it, right? So that's one thing that we do. We help to make sure that you're getting. We can't say 100% because there's always some clients' insurance that wasn't working and you didn't check the insurance or something. But we can definitely do over 80% of collection. You get back that money, and you get it back correctly. Not only that, we know the law about insurance companies who need to pay within a certain amount of time. And so when we see and we're tracking that and they don't pay within that amount of time, we make sure they pay that penalty. You're in the right, they're in the right to get actually extra costs on top of what they bill for. So that's extra profits. That's extra revenue coming in. And not to mention just the relief of that administrative burden. You're not having to worry about that because you have a partner in an insurance company. Unlike, being that I am a small business, and as I mentioned before, very family minded. My clients become family. I always say the minute you become a client, you're part of the Quiayamo Billing Service Plus family. Or sometimes I shorten it to QBSP because it'd be much going forward. I say you're part of the family. So whatever I know, you know. Whatever I'm doing, I'm very transparent because we're all human, right? So if I drop the ball somewhere, I'm telling you this is what I did, but this is what I'm doing to fix it because I know the rules around fixing things. There are loopholes. So it definitely helped the clients increase their revenue by making sure that I follow up with all of those rules and holding insurance companies accountable within the time frame they're supposed to have turnaround.
And for me, the idea that there's money left on the table that's unclaimed.
Unclaimed.
So just by hiring you, they could be paying for your services and gaining a profit just in unclaimed money that they didn't even know about.
Absolutely. I always say by hiring my billing service or quality billing service, you're investing in your business's profitability over years of sustainability, right? So I say all of that because not every mental health practice makes it. Not every mental health practice stays open because of the lack of putting the right people in the right places to keep that solid foundation as you climb. You need you need the right materials in place for that to stay solid. Same with my business. I need to have the right people in place for my business to stay solid, which is why I'm so savvy on like with my cybersecurity. I have a company that helps me with that to make sure that my information, my client's information stays very, very private and it's not open to cyber attacks. Just a couple of months ago, a major organization, and you probably know about it, United Healthcare Optum, had their Change Healthcare clearinghouse got hacked. They had a cyber attack and it shut down business for multiple mental health practices for months because nobody can submit claims, nobody can see the payments. Everybody was stuck. They were stuck because this major company got hit by a cyber attack. But we knew how to work around that. And so we did. So our providers did not get stuck. We still got claims out. We still got payments in. So just, sometimes big isn't always better.
Right. And, you mentioned about United. Just recently, nationally, there's a national healthcare chain, Ascension, and they got hacked. And so one of the Ascension hospitals, a major trauma hospital in this area, they were shut down. They didn't know what to do, and they ended up having to go all to paper. And
Right.
so,
Yeah.
that's rough. And the fact that you're like, not only you're trying to get somebody to use you as a third party provider, but you even your own practice, you realized, hey, look, we got HIPAA laws, we got all these different things that we got to take care of. And in order for me to provide my clients the skill sets that I can provide them, I need somebody with additional skill sets that I don't have. So you went out and you got somebody to make sure that your company's safe, that not only is your record safe, but also your clients' records are safe. And that's something that a lot of people need to realize, that you got to know what you know and know what you don't know, and invest in what you don't know with somebody that can help you with it, so that
Exactly.
you're protected. Because a lot of small businesses do not understand when you're trying to scale up. And you previously mentioned about scaling up your practice. That is so involved. That requires so much. And a lot of business people, they don't understand it until they're in the thick of things.
Right.
And having somebody that's actually scaled up, somebody that helps people scale up, and you've been through it. You've had clients, I'm sure, that they've scaled up using your services, so you can provide them assistance that they maybe hadn't even thought about.
Right.
So I think that's so good. Again, that's the reason why I like having professionals on whenever possible. I love talking with professionals because it's a different mindset than just I'm going to put a shingle out and I'm going to sell a product.
No.
You're not selling a product. You're not selling a service. That's your business. But it's kind of like when I was doing small business advising. I had a tile company, and I was telling the owner, I said, you don't sell tile, you sell happiness. That I don't have to worry about it. It's going to look pretty. It's going to be durable. You're selling happiness. And I think professionals realize that you sell more than just the service or the product, and that you have way much more value than the service or product you're selling. And that's what I like, is the fact that you're willing to go the extra mile. If it means reaching out to somebody else and saying, hey, look, we're not right for you, but I know somebody that is, that even be able to forego that potential profit. You're putting somebody off at a better place than what they'd be if you're just going to be greedy. And
Right.
that's the thing about the heart of professionalism. It's not just that cold business practice. Business gets a negative stigma
Yeah.
that you're out just for the money. And yeah, money is important. I'm not saying it's not, but
Mhm.
a lot of it is I love what I do so much that if I have to take a hit to help somebody get forward, it's just being a good human, really. And that I really do appreciate that. And I hope anybody that's watching this, that if you're a mental health professional, that this is something that calls to you, that there's part of you saying, hey, look, this is something different. There's some intrinsic value here that maybe other businesses aren't offering. We all get mail, email, people
Mhm.
coming in for sales calls, buy you lunch, use us. There's all these different things, but
Mhm.
I'm just talking to the professionals watching now, or maybe you have friends that they're professionals. This is worth considering. This has got some intrinsic value that you just can't you can't always get. This is a rarity, unfortunately, in today's time. That there's too many businesses out there that they just want to make the money and they don't care enough. And this is actually a company that cares. She's
Mhm.
not paying me money. I've got to say this outright. This was totally free, and she didn't come to me asking for an interview. I came to her only
Mhm.
because I saw something there that was unique. So I wanted my viewers to understand that she's not paying me. She didn't come to me. She didn't ask for any of this. This was all me wanting to engage with her because I saw so much value. So with that, I'm gonna hand over to you. How can any mental health professional get in contact with you? This is a way for you to sell yourself. Uh, I think you've already sold yourself. If somebody don't want to use you by now, I don't know what the problem is. But hey, look. But uh, how are they going to be able to get a hold of you and.
Absolutely. Well, first you can go to my website at Quiayamo, that's QUIAYAMO.com, and you can read more about my story and my mission. And even on there is all of the contact information, just in case you don't catch it here. You can also email me at Jessica at Quiayamo.com. So again, it's just the name of the business.com. Or you can even give us a call at 646-844-0518. There are multiple, and you can even send a text. I know in this day and age, sometimes we want to plug something in real quick just to put something on a book. But if you email me or go on my website, there is a link for if you want to do a meet and greet, and we can meet and we can chat to see where you are in your business and how we can help.
All right. Well, Jessica, it has been definitely a pleasure talking with you. I wish you all the best. I
Thank
hope
you.
you stay in contact and let me know if anybody reaches out because of this video. I'd love to hear that. That tickles me to death whenever I hear that. But I do wish you all the best, and thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate being here. This was fun.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Jessica, she is a unique professional and she is in a much needed field. So, like I said, I don't normally do a lot of interviews, but when I find a professional that they're really doing something special, I do try to have them on. I hope you found this video to be informative, entertaining. If you know somebody that's in mental health practice and they're needing some help, or maybe they're not saying they need help, but you think they might, suggest Jessica to them. I have her information in the description below. And also, if you happen to have a small business where you're doing something a little different, maybe you got a different mindset on things, something like what Jessica does, that, this is more than just billing and coding. This is a lot more. There's more to it than what we, the average consumer, thinks. If you feel you got something that's unique that you think my viewers would like to hear about, contact me. Let me know. I would love to have you on the show and we can talk about it in greater detail. With that, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button if you like this video. Comment down below what you thought. Put down any questions that you might have. Share with your friends. If you hadn't subscribed, please subscribe. That helps. It's free. It really does help out the channel. And with that, I'll see you again next time. Bye.